Thank you very much. I'm really happy to get to launch this As Seen on TV program here at home base at the Inventor Center in Kansas City, because this group has really meant a lot to me, and all of you have meant a lot to me too, and I really want to thank you for that, because volunteering and sewing into this organization has benefited me in ways that I cannot even describe. And I would like to encourage you, if you're not volunteering, if you're not participating actively, I encourage you to do so, because I really do believe there is a spiritual and physical law of reaping and sowing, and it does come back to you. And those of you watching on video, there are inventor organizations all around this country, and you can go on the United Inventor Association website or the Inventor Digest magazine site and find a local organization. And if there's not one in your local area, then I encourage you to start one, like our founder, C.J. Boylan, did in this organization. So it really is valuable. I've given a lot of time and money to the group, but it has been worth every penny, and I do encourage you to give back. I'm excited about As Seen on TV because in my bio, you know, it's nice to say I got a PO from Budweiser, and that was a great order. It was a $63,000 order for 1,200 units, and that was a great, great day when we sold that order to Budweiser. And with the Sport Shade product, I was really, really happy that we were the 1% of United States patents that actually made it to store shelves. So that felt really good. But I got to tell you, just to level with you, all of that sounds really good. I was on QVC and got the Budweiser and did business with Coke, and all that sounds great. But those of you that have businesses that you're running or that have inventions that you've sold yourself and got out there know how much time and energy and sweat and expense was involved with all of that is pretty significant. And in hindsight, you know, I might have been able to make more money just keeping my day job, honestly. It's hard work. And that's one of the reasons why I am so excited about this As Seen on TV opportunity that has come to me as a result of the time and energy that I've put in volunteering in this organization. The reason I like this opportunity is because I finally feel like I'm on this wave where momentum and the way things are lining up economically and environmentally is all in our favor, where I truly believe that this As Seen on TV industry is the fastest, least expensive way for an inventor to make money on their products. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's not about tweaking a prototype to be perfect forever, and it's not about filing a zillion patents and saying that you're this great inventor that has 1 million patents. It's about making money on your products. And so I'm going to go kind of fast, because those of you that know me, it's like, you know, drink from a fire hose. So there's a lot of content. I do encourage you to watch the video again and again. I offer a free consultation on my website that I'm happy to talk with you about your own individual products. But we're going to jump right into it now. And what I really want to do, my whole point in talking to you tonight, is I want to fire you up so significantly that you can help people in your circle of influence that have ideas, and you can help yourself. Because that's one of the challenges I had when I was really in the heat of my Sport Shade days. The minute people hear, oh, you're working with inventors, or you have a product you've invented, everybody around you is like, oh, I have a good idea. You've all heard it. I've got a good idea too. Yet they don't have the first clue about what it takes to move forward with that, and you all do, because you're here. And so I always found that a little frustrating, honestly, because I wanted to help people. I care about people. I really wanted to do something. I just couldn't. I was so wrapped up in my own product and my own energy and all the money that I was putting into my own thing that I could not even begin to help somebody else with their idea. Now, with this As Seen on TV channel, we all can help ourselves, and we can help anyone around us that has a good idea, because the amount of money that you need to get in the game is the lowest I have ever seen in my life. And that's what I'm excited about. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I want you to be not only in your own circle of influence, but you need to go around and be the spokesperson everywhere. Because when people have good ideas, if you can kind of fine-tune them into how they can use their creativity to come up with an idea that could be a successful As Seen on TV product, there really are millions to be made. And so that's my goal for today. Now, let's get right to the numbers, because I titled this thing, How to Make $330,000 Inventing Products for TV. So inventors were all skeptical, how do we make that? Here's how. I'm going to start right off with the numbers. All right. I'm in the section of As Seen on TV that deals with the little 1995 gadgets. All right. That's kind of the sweet spot that I'm focused in right now. So how this works is these products sell for $19.95 retail. Their wholesale price is about $11. They all cost around $2 to $5. The lower the better. All right. So that's the business model of it. So if you're selling an $11 wholesale item and you got an average royalty of 3%, then you would make $330,000 for every 1 million units that are sold. Now, our group, we will not even look at the idea if we don't think it can do 1 million units. 1 million units is the lowest. And the thing about this that's so great is nobody knows where the winning products are. If people knew exactly where they were, then, only a few people making lots of money, the rest of us would be, locked out. But the market is fickle, nobody knows. So there is a methodology to this business because it's pretty scientific. But there's also this wild, who knows where the next great thing is going to come from, kind of gambling lotto mentality out there as well. So it's kind of a little bit of both. But if you think about these numbers, all those products that have made it all the way through the process and are on the store shelves at the Walmart, at the Walgreens, at the CVS, at the Target, next time you're in any of those stores, go find their As Seen on TV aisle. They all have one. And it's their little bit of shelf space that has all these As Seen on TV products there. Just start taking a look at that. Start educating yourself about those products. That's kind of the holy grail by the time you get into the retail, because for every one product that is sold on TV, 5 more are sold at the retail shelf. So that's where the real significant money is. But millions are sold through the TV channel. So now I talked about the royalties being 2 to 5%. That's industry standard. Some of that depends on the stage that you're at, whether it's a concept or market ready. It might be whether you have the existing inventory or a proven sales history. Basically, how far along have you taken it yourself? So it's okay if you've taken a product far yourself and you're ready to get it on. It's also okay if you just have truly an idea in your mind and you really don't even have a patent or even a little mock-up prototype. You don't have anything. We can help you too. And that's what I really love about this. Because $330,000 for doing a little inventor mock-up and putting a video together is not a bad part-time job for your money to be holding down. Who wouldn't like to get that check every month or every year or whatever? And think about, not every month, think about once a year. And that's another thing I want to say at this point is because the goal here is we're looking for one great product a year. That's an achievable goal. I mean, if you can have one great product a year, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay, direct response industry. I'm going to give you kind of a high-level overview. It's a $150 billion industry. You see all the pills and the formulas and the creams. Those are kind of the rogue cowboys. I'm not associated with those groups, not really looking for those ideas. You've got long-form exercise gear. I can help you with those, but it's still not the sweet spot that I'm looking for. I'm really looking for what's called the short form. It's about a 30-second to 1 minute commercial, sometimes a 2-minute, but no longer than that, and generally a $19.95 retail item. So you have to have your cost of goods around $2 to $5 with an $11 wholesale. So you got to be thinking in terms of that being a criteria when you're coming up with products. What I love about it is we look at concepts all the time with just a little inventor mock-up prototype. Steve Pope had written an article with listing all the different types of prototypes, and then I took that and kind of redid it, adding for the As Seen on TV. And that's what's really great is a concept prototype is really all you need. A little bit about the industry. It's not, sometimes we say, well, we don't need a patent. And inventor community can get a little bit fur rubbed the wrong way because of that, because we're all always worried about our intellectual property and we don't want our ideas stolen, and all those are absolutely legitimate concerns. But let me show you how this works. This is a first-to-market strategy, which means the As Seen on TV channel is like a giant rock in the little pond and making such a big splash for such a short amount of time that competitors really cannot get in. It's pretty tight. And so I'm going to start at the bottom here. A patent is not required for this. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't get one. I'm an advocate of good legal counsel, and there is a time to get one. In a minute, I'm going to show you, in my opinion, what I think that time is. I don't think it's necessarily the right thing to do at the very beginning, because it's the submissions that you give to me are considered confidential. And I just attended the United States Patent and Trademark Office Independent Inventor Conference in Wichita, and I have video recorded interviews that I did with them. And I have full understanding now in my mind of how it works. Now, you get 4 attorneys in the room and they're going to dispute this, so just be aware of that. That's fine. But you have a 12-month grace period, basically. There's a 12-month grace period that if you don't launch that idea publicly and you use an Inventor Notebook and you do use confidentiality, a confidential submission process, which mine is, you have 12 months from the time that you make a public disclosure to patent that concept. Submitting to my contest, this group, is not considered a public disclosure. All right, so there is a grace period there, and I'm going to say more about that in a minute. I don't want to over-confuse the issue, but you don't need the patent right away, and the reason I like that is because patents are expensive. And if you know for sure you've got a great product and you're going to have it on the market for 17 or 20 years, and it's some revolutionary great product, that's probably a product you need to go get a patent on. That is not a 1995 as seen on TV product. A 1995 as seen on TV product is going to have a 2 to 5 year life cycle, not a 17 to 20 year life cycle. Now, it may still sell for 17 to 20 years, but it's not really, the focus. It's the as seen on TV makes a lot of money in a short amount of time on a product. So, it's also distribution channel control. The reason why you don't have knockoffs as much, at least they're significantly minimized in the as seen on TV channel, is because these players dominate the industry, and it's actually a very small industry, and the players do talk amongst themselves, and there are a lot of strategic alliances that are involved in getting a product from concept out into the full international rollout, which is the final phase. There's an awful lot of conversations that go on, and that shelf space that you see at the retail outlets, that's actually owned and controlled by 3 dominant players. And those 3 players look to smaller feeder companies to do the market testing and the validation. And you see those little market feeder companies everywhere. I mean, you can't turn on your TV and see Dr. Phil doing an invention contest. Ellen's got one. Everybody and their brother has an invention contest now. Those are all eventually funnel up to the same place. And I'm one too. That's what I am. I'm a little feeder company. I'm a licensing agent. I have the contacts now. I meet every week looking through ideas and, sifting through them to find that, pearl in that diamond in the rough. So what I want to do is I want to build exclusive relationships with inventors, because one of the things that I see happen is some people like spray and pray their ideas all over town, and there is a place for that. There's a place for that. There's some licensing experts who I admire that teach that, and I think for some industries that's a good thing to do, but not for as seen on TV. Because the goal with as seen on TV is something that's unique and unusual. And as that product goes up through the strategic partners, which it will, if everybody's seen it, then suddenly no one's interested anymore. And so what I'm doing is I've got a process now where I'll review the ideas. I'm reviewing probably 20 to 100 inventions per week, bringing 2 to several set meetings that I have with strategic advisors that kind of everybody's coming to the table with a couple of great ideas. I want to be the first place you come, and I'm asking you to give me 5 days. I'll reply in 5 days whether I think it's a yes, no, or maybe. And honestly, 90% of the time I'm going to say no. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying no. Inventing for this industry is like shooting a half-court basketball shot. Every now and then people make it right away. There's one-trick ponies, and that's great, and it happens. But for most inventors, you got to take several shots. You have to learn the industry. And so you begin to tweak your creativity to fit into the criteria we're looking for. But what's great about it is there aren't so many knockoffs because the distribution channel is fast and it's controlled by dominant players. So that's an important thing to remember. It's a short life cycle and it's a speed to market. This thing moves fast. I mean, literally, there was one invention I found, and I just found it online through social networking, and literally within a week, our people were pitching that into Home Depot for next year's rollout season. I mean, it was like jumping through the steps because it was like a light bulb. You saw it and you're like, oh, that's a perfect as seen on TV. So that's what I love. This thing moves fast. And at least if you're told no, shoot, I've been in sales a long time. Tell me yes or tell me no, but don't tell me maybe. You hate those maybes where they're like you don't hear from somebody and you never can get follow-up and you're like, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? It takes forever and it's so mind-consuming. I'd much rather hear no right away and think, okay, here's what I'm going to do with that product, or maybe I don't buy the no, I'm going to keep at it some other way. All right, this is the process. I'm going to spend a little time here because this is important for you to understand. At the beginning, you submit the product. I encourage you to use your Inventor Notebook at this time. I have a blog, and it'll tell you about what's required for the Inventor Notebook. It's pretty much just a mathematical equation notebook, but there are specific requirements to the Inventor Notebook for the United States Patent Office to consider this a valid proof that you are the original inventor of this concept. You really need to learn about the Inventor Notebook, and every one of you should be keeping one on your concepts, all right? Doesn't cost you any money, but whatever the price of that notebook is, all right? This is what I love about this. So you submit your product to me. It's through a confidential submission process, so it doesn't start the date on the public disclosure. It's not considered a public disclosure. It's a confidential submission, all right? And then we review it with committees. And there's probably 2 or 3 or 4 committee processes that we go through. And these 2 phases are very subjective. It's basically industry experts coming together saying, I got a feeling it'll work, or I have some experience with a product similar to that failed, it probably won't work. That's probably the most common thing I hear. We've tried that before and it failed, so therefore this new thing is not going to work. It's subjective though. It's still just people making up their mind about whether they think it's going to work or not. So I have the ability to be persuasive or to not be persuasive in those groups. And that's one of the things that I want to be persuasive with the things I'm bringing to the table because I'm believing in them, all right? So now after that, let's say we get the licensee to do an email test. What they're doing is they're testing the concept to determine, is this really a viable product? Are people really going to buy it? And they're going to drop about $5,000 into it to do that. Now keep in mind at this point, the only money that you have spent as an inventor is whatever it took you to cobble together a little inventor mock-up prototype and whatever cost you have in making a little homemade video that you're going to send to me, all right? That's all the cost you have into it. And so literally, if we put the $5,000 into it for the test, we'll put the product development costs into it. At that point, if you get a yes, we're moving forward with a test, you'll get a term sheet. And basically it outlines what the licensing agreement deal would be should the test be successful. If the test is not successful, then we burn the $5,000, you get the product back, no harm, no foul. If it's successful, then you know in advance what your royalty is going to be. It's all laid out, and that test is quantifiable. It's either a pass or a fail. There's no subjectivity to it anymore. If it passes, they put more money in it. If it fails, no one's putting any money in it. And you can try through other as seen on TV groups, but if there's a failed test in the book somewhere, you're going to have a hard time finding any other as seen on TV to put any money into it. So you might as well, my recommendation would be pick another channel or drop it.
Carrie,
Yeah.
at that point, is there any products being made or any?
Sometimes. Sometimes it depends. You're asking, is there any products being made at that point? Sometimes there are. Sometimes there are. Your inventors are far enough along, they have some products made. Other times, if it's just at the concept stage, there may not be. They may be using just a graphical representation to sell that in a 6 to 8 week delivery time, and if enough people buy it, they buy it, and if they don't, they don't. It depends, is the answer to the question. It depends. Sometimes there's money in product development at that point, sometimes not. It just depends. Okay, so at that point, I recommend you file a patent at that point. At the point you get a term sheet, you still you've not publicly disclosed this, but the minute they do that test, that's a public disclosure. They're out there trying to sell it. So that's when I recommend you file your provisional patent, or provisional is what I recommend if you think it needs to be a full utility write-off. I talk to a lot of attorneys, and I love attorneys, but they all have different advice. So you got to go with what feels right to you in your heart. My personal recommendation is file a provisional because it's cheaper, and you don't really know if it's going to succeed still. That at least gives you a year, might give you 2 years to figure it out. So file the provisional patent, sign the term sheet, let them take the $5,000 in and do the test. Let's say it passes. Yay! Then we move to a regional TV test where they'll now put money into product development, they'll put money into making of the commercial, they'll put money into buying the media on the TV stations, which comes to about $25,000 is what they'll put into it. All right? So you're happy as a camper now. They've done the regional TV test. Same deal. It either passes or it fails. If it fails, that's probably it. They're moving on. This funnel, I should have inverted it, because what I love about this as seen on TV, it is a massive funnel for testing concepts of products. I mean, they churn through them at a gorilla rate. And so you can pump a lot of products through, and they're just looking for that one that tests out and seems like a win. So if it fails at that point, no harm, no foul, you get the product back. Now you have a nice 60-second commercial on something that you haven't really spent any money on still. And so you can do what you want with it. You can go wherever you want with it. Make it, drop it, whatever, it's yours. If it passes, that's really good. Then they will move at lightning speed at that point. All the next steps may happen in one fell swoop, or they may be slower. It really just depends on the circumstances. There are a lot of variables going into that. But it would then move to the national rollout, then to the national mass market, then to the international market. At that point, they're putting millions of dollars into it. You don't have inventory sitting in Sam's Club, in Walmart, for free. And the reason why they take millions is because there's all types of, they got to handle all the returns, they got to handle all the chargebacks. Any of that product that doesn't sell on those shelves, they are eating. That's coming back. Walmart's not taking that. If there's product on those shelves that doesn't sell, the ASOTV licensee takes that back at their cost. So now they've spent shipping there, they put shipping back. So there is a lot of cost that these companies put into these products to get them. And so I want to say that so you understand, because some inventors go, oh, I only get 3%. There is so much money that's being put into it. 3% I think is absolutely fantastic when you come up with a concept and put hardly any money, hardly any time, and you can kind of come up with that kind of money. You've got a question? I'll go ahead and take it.
How much time does it require all the way from submit product to the international rollout?
How much time does it take to get through the process? It goes very fast. It could be 60, 90, 180 days. It could be. When you submit to me, you're submitting to me, it comes to me, I'll reply quick. I'll reply. I say give me 5 days. I'm almost always replying the same day or the next day. Every now and then, like I didn't check my email this morning because I was doing this. Every now and then I'll have a day or two delay. But almost always I'll be home tonight till late going through all the emails, looking at all the products, and I'll reply. So that part happens really, really fast.
Assuming that it passes all the way, all the steps.
60 to 90 to 180 days. Yeah, the one lady with the Home Depot thing, she's going lightning speed through. A lot of the other ones are, I'm reviewing the product, giving you feedback within a day or two. The committees, I'm meeting every week with the committees. And then the regional tests, it just depends on how hot it is and how many other great things they have in the funnel. You know, like let me give you an example. Last year, we looked at about 250 inventions from the Inventor Center. There are about 250 submitted through our site. 5 of them, they said, yeah, we like them. We want to move forward with a test. 2 of them, they actually put the 25,000 into, and both of those didn't make it. So, you know, it's a long shot. It is a long shot, but you can make it. Does that answer your question?
Carrie, back to your slide, I think it's the second slide you had up, where you talked about wholesale price of $11, 3% royalty, $330,000 income if they sell 1 million units.
Right.
Is that 1 million units sold on, as seen on TV, or total distribution?
Total distribution.
Okay.
Right, and it would be whatever they sell. You know, like a person that had inventory, for example, like a lot of inventors have a garage full of stuff they couldn't sell. It doesn't mean it's bad stuff, it just means they couldn't sell it. Maybe the ASOTV can sell it.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm going to hold on questions and get them at the end. But, you know, go ahead and pepper them in throughout, but I'm going to try to move forward. Because I want to get to this. This is where I really want you to start focusing in your creativity into these 7 criteria. Every product that makes it as seen on TV fits into this 7 criteria, and it's really important to know. The mass market appeal is critical. I get lots of different things that are little niche things, like things that people that ride motorcycles might like. Well, that's great. Those are wonderful products, but not everybody that has a TV rides a motorcycle. This market is they put so much money. The media is very expensive to buy. They put so much money into it that the product that you're pitching, if you think of a TV in a home, there better be at least one person that lives in that home that could buy that product for $19.95. It's got to be mass market appeal. And so you'll see when we get to the categories that tend to be more successful. But it's got to be something that at least one person in the home could buy. Solves a problem, saves time or money. You know, you see little fluff things every now and then, like, you know, I'll say the Snuggie. It's been wildly successful. It's a backwards robe, but it's been wildly successful. I don't know if it solves a problem or not. I mean, I think that it happened around when the economy was crashing and people were all fearful and you want a little Snuggie blanket. And then it just turned into a craze. You know, so there's weird stuff like that. But in general, that's an anomaly, really. In general, the products need to be products that solve a problem. They make something more convenient around your house. So you want to kind of gear your thinking into those kind of things. Nothing prevention or safety. And I get a lot of different prevention safety things. This is a positive emotional impulse buy. So you want to make sure that the product is something that makes me happy and is going to solve some of my problems that I want solved. Not something that makes me think I'm scared or I'm going to have some harm. Or those are negative emotional things that don't tend to do well. So you want to spin it positive. The wow demo. When we get to the demo, there has to be something in the action of the product that makes you go wow. And that's really all we need on the submission ditto. I don't need people going wah, 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 wah. The market's so broad and this is going to make millions for everyone. We don't care about any of the words. All we want to see is the little mock-up prototype that you've made that doesn't even have to work, but it gets the point across, doing whatever you say it's going to do. That's all we want to see. And so it's got to be something that makes you go, wow, that's really cool. Wow. All right? Pricing, you got to have the cost right. It's got to be about a 2 to 5 cost of goods. It can't be too expensive to make. It can't have a lot of materials in it. You know, look at the little things out there. They're small, little, low material gadgets. You know, they're not things that have tons of production in them and tons of material on them. So think about that. Uniqueness, it's new or improved. This market, normally when people are inventing, I say that competition is a good thing because it tells you that there's a need out there. People are spending money on that, so I'm not afraid of it. And as seen on TV, not quite so much. They do like to be unique. Like if all those products that you see are selling well, the pet egg selling more than Snickers candy bar now, and those other things, they don't want to see more of that. Those products already did that. They already solved their problem. They don't really want to compete in the same type of thing. They want it to be new, unique, different. Something nobody's ever seen before, some new gadget that people go, wow. So needs to be new and unique with not a lot of competitors out in the field. Unless your way of doing it is just so significantly better than the other competitors, that would be good. That'd be really good. Okay, practical, believable. Is the problem we're solving, will it do what it claims? Is the problem we're solving is another reason things get rejected. It's just people look at it and we think, it's a problem, but are people really going to pay to solve it? Probably not. You know, that's another reason things get rejected. Shipping costs or liability. You know, I think I had the exercise in the shower idea early on, and that was like, no, too much liability. I thought it was great. Who doesn't want to exercise in the shower? Easy to explain. It's got to be in 30 seconds. And another difference here between brick and mortar is when you go to a buyer of a retail store with most of your products, they want lots of SKUs, lots of different items, right? They don't want you to just be a one-trick pony. They want you to have a whole line, because they're going to have to set up all that vendor paperwork. And they want to be able to buy a lot of things from you, not just one thing. Well, this is where it's great for us as inventors, because here, one-trick pony is what we want. We don't want lots of colors, lots of sizes, lots of variations. People can't make decisions if you give them too many choices. We want one or two choices. We want it simple. All right, so keep that in mind when you're thinking through. We don't want lots of variation. We want little variation. Okay, best categories. Look at these categories and you see that most all these products are related to, if you have a TV, somebody in that home is interested in buying that. Some of the exceptions are probably the pet. For some reason, even when the economy went bad, the pet category was the only category out of all retail that continued to go up. And, you know, my personal thoughts are that, you know, with all of the economic challenges, losing your job, everybody's getting divorced, your pet is there loving you. And you're going to spend money on that pet, and people are. The toys, this is another little gotcha I want to make you aware of, because that gyro bowl, these toys that are successful are not marketed to children like the Saturday morning thing. They have to be problem-solving things for the parent. The child is not buying anything. So it's got to be something that the parent can use, something that solves a problem for the parent. The rest of the categories you can see, but if you can kind of keep your eyes focused in these categories, these things get a second look. All right, I want to go into creativity here. Trends. Think about behavior trends. Think about buying trends. Also think about new, improved materials. I noticed this material that's kind of a suction material is popping up in all these different products that we're seeing now. Look for different materials that are out there that are being used in other products and think, how could I use that same little material in a new way, in a different way? That's great. And have fun with it. Mix and match. Put two things together. This is a game you can play when you're out at the store, when you're looking through catalogs, to help you think of as seen on TV ideas. The windshield winder, multi-million-dollar hit. What are the two things that is?
Swiffer.
It's a Swiffer, and what else? It's a Swiffer for your car, but what?
And a scraper.
And a scraper. Yeah, I was thinking chamois on a stick. You know, but the problem is people couldn't get to that inside of their window. You know, so this guy comes up with this two things together, mix and match. Now think about that one up there, that little thing. What are those two things?
Knives and Tupperware.
Knives and Tupperware, exactly. Combine it into one, make it easier. Okay, what about this one? The pillow pet.
Pillow and a stuffed animal.
Pillow and a stuffed animal, right. So be thinking this way. When you're out in the stores, when you're looking around, when you're trying to create, put two things together and make them one. That's innovation. There you go. That's all you need. All right, another way to be creative is solve it. What is the problem? You think there's a problem that needs to be solved. A lot of you guys should be naturals at this. The gyro bowl, what is the problem it solved?
Spilling
I
milk.
can't believe that works.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I love it. I absolutely love it. The nail thing, problem it solves.
I don't know about that one.
And the ladies, how much do you spend getting your nails done? Does anybody go? I just went before I came here. You know how much I dropped?
40.
25 for the hands, 25 for the feet. $19.95. Yeah. Well, there you go. For $19.95, do your own. Yeah.
For a year.
Yeah. The furniture fix, problem it solved.
Sliding cushions.
No bad
Not
springs.
sinking into your, it's hard to get out of some chairs,
Yeah.
especially when we get older.
Right? And I don't want to buy a new couch. Yeah, so you got it. Okay, what if, and this is just what if, the Magic Mesh, another one that, this one actually was selling really well in Australian catalogs. And it just never made it to As Seen on TV, and that's another place you can be looking.
the
Foreign
magnet
national
one or is that-
catalogs.
Is that the magnet one or the?
That's the magnet one, yeah. Yeah, so what if? What if I could go in and out my patio door without having to stop and open the screen door? You know, what if I could water my plants without having to actually do it every day? That little globe, you know, what if I could grow tomatoes for my deck? So this what if is a really great technique, and those are all three from Stephen Key. Then I found some PhD doctor, I should probably get the source, but she came up with, or was it he maybe, generic parts technique. The guy that invented Velcro got it from the burrs. So when you think about things in nature or things, reduce everything to just the parts. If you look at things, reduce it to just the parts, and then come up with unique ways that those parts might be used in other applications. Really good creativity technique. Another one is the visual thesaurus. If you look on there, you can put in a word like fasten or inspire, and a lot of different things will come up. You know, if you put fasten like Velcro, and you know, different things would come up like that. So it just kind of helps you spark creativity. Okay, before you submit, go on to Google Images or Google or Amazon and see if it's out there already. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talked to the phone and somebody and they've got the thing that the light that makes that works in your mailbox, because I can't see the mailbox mail, you know, and it's a light. I'm go to Google. There's like 10 of them. You know, it's like go to Google before you spend any time or energy trying to submit. Estimate the retail price based on other products. So look around, see other products that are selling. If they're selling for 19, 20, 25 bucks, you know, you got something. Look, kind of get a feel for the materials. Start to develop an eye for how much things cost. Review the competitive solutions, but find your unique competitive advantage. This is really great to look at competitive solutions because you can use some of the verbiage. Some of these big companies have spent millions of dollars on really smart marketing people that know how to put their words together. You can borrow some of that for your product. Consider products with similar materials and begin making the inventor mock-up. That's where I need you to get to finally, is to make a little mock-up with just cobble it together. However, it doesn't even have to work. It's just a 3D representation of what you're talking about. Because people can't understand. People submit these words and they try to submit patent applications. You know what happens? Delete, delete, delete. Because nobody's spending time reading that verbiage. It's got to be a picture. It's got to be a video of the actual item. Protect your IP. Use the Inventor Notebook and non-disclosure. And if you don't understand the law, seek good legal counsel. There are a lot of good lawyers out there. But my recommendation is don't pay them until you need them. Why pay them early? Okay, how to submit. Prototype your concept with the Inventor Mockup. Make a little homemade video. Now, if somebody's out there and you've got this great professional thing because you've already taken it so far, that's fine. I'm just talking to the people that don't have anything, that really have a concept. Don't think, oh, I need to spend all this money having this great professional video. Really, it makes no difference to us whether it's a professional video or if it's just an inventor standing there showing his little cobbled together inventor prototype. It makes absolutely no difference. It's all about the idea. Does that concept meet the 7 criteria, and do we think it can sell at least 1 million, preferably a lot more? That's all we really care about. And when you're looking at as many ideas as we are, you get pretty good at it. It's like, no, 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 no. Yay, that might be one. That's how it is. So don't spend a lot of money on it.
You can submit your ideas without a patent. All you need is a simple handmade prototype and a homemade demo video. You can submit directly to the Will It Launch website or to me at Carrie@willitlaunch.com. When you submit, please put the product name in the subject line along with a link to your demo video or website.
If I am of value, then come through me.
At Will It Launch, we pay full royalties. There are no submission fees, royalty splits, or coaching costs. We've got a really high product capacity, so those of you with a lot of ideas, we're your place. We have a very large appetite for products. We also have a really strong production team, the best in the business. A proven track record, we produce a steady stream of winners, and we're inventor friendly. We sign NDAs and are very responsive. I'll also give you caring and candid feedback. I'll share information with you and help you make wise decisions about your next steps. There are several types of agreements you can look for. One is the 100% fully funded licensing agreement. This is great for inventors with a lot of concept stage ideas and little money. Partnership agreements are for people that want more input and access to the test data. Maybe you've got a patent or well-made prototypes or finished goods. This is a program worth looking into. And then there's service agreements, and this is generally for small to mid-sized manufacturers wanting to test market viability before investing in the high cost of molds and manufacturing. Also, we've got the Product Scout program. You can earn finder's fees by helping others connect to us.
Become a scout. This is what I want you to do is, my deal is with the licensees, all right? Your deal can be with the inventors. I want to turn every one of you into a product scout. When you talk to people that have ideas or get together with friends and have a little party and have a little brainstorming session, pull out your little note that you spent $5 for and play these games with your friends in your house and agree. Anything we get, we split. Let's say I have 4 friends over and we come up with some ideas and we brainstorm and we make the little video. We have our little smartphone and we're gonna call it together and that's all we really need. Say, hey, we're gonna split it. Let's just split it. So if you go out there and find people's ideas, you can split it with them. You can say, hey, let's just split it 50-50. I think 50-50 is fair. I talk to some people that think, oh, you shouldn't take 50% of somebody's concept. So take less then. The deal is, get it out there. If that person has an idea and they have 100% of nothing, and you come along and you're connected because you took the time to show up here, well, that's worth something. How much is it worth? I don't know. How much do you think it's worth? Figure it out. They have 100% of nothing. So help them. And let's, all of us make some money somewhere. All right, so the other thing is, I want to speak at your group. So if you have organizations that you're a part of, I want to come give this little presentation, just like I did here, at every group I can, everywhere, all around, as often as possible. And I have another version of it for churches or religious organizations that's called Witty Inventions, where we throw in some Christian scriptures. So for churches, that would be great. So that's it. Q&A? What do you got? Do you guys want somebody to be the mic person?
I'm gonna be the mic person.
Okay.
I'll do that.
I'm going to
Well,
move.
you guys are thinking about your questions here. She made such a great point right there at the end. Yes, do not be afraid to make money helping somebody else become successful. Yeah, but it's their idea. What are they doing with it? If they're not making, if you bring something to the table, say, look, if I can with you, if I can help you get that to market and get it produced and get it selling and make money, would that be worth something to you? Yeah. How much? They'll go, I don't know, half. Sounds good to me. Guess every time they go, I don't know, what, half? Guys, I've asked that to people. I'm like, I'm shocked. Really, half? Okay. But you guys, do not be afraid. You have knowledge and expertise and maybe contacts that are worth a lot of money. So don't ever hesitate. You bring value to the table. Okay. Who has a question? All right. In the back.
How long would you like the video to? How long would you like the video to be?
Please no more than 2 minutes and preferably shorter. I really just want to see that product doing what you say it does that makes me go, wow.
In some of your, I guess in your experience, I've read in some research that inventors take more initiative as far as with their prototypes. They, in terms of royalty rate, that can be affected. Is that the same with the As Seen on TV group of people?
Probably not so much. It is in a way. If you take more, the question is if you take more initiative. If you take more initiative, like you paid for manufacturing and tooling and you bought a first production run of 1,000 and they're sitting in your garage and now you've got inventory, you've got some cash into it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the question we might have is, well, why didn't it sell? And that's okay if it didn't, because usually it's because one person who wasn't a salesperson bought a garage full of them and we can sell them. But not necessarily. It just kind of depends.
That's an excellent question. And also, too, using someone else's money to bring your product to market is always a wiser decision in my mind. Because we become emotionally involved. You go, it's my idea and it's so great, and I'm going to put in $100,000, and then we don't want to buy it. So if somebody else will step up and put in the money, I think that's a big testimony right there. Another question. Okay, right here, in the back. I've got you coming next. Okay.
If someone has already an available working prototype available, and it can be demonstrated to you personally, for example, will it be enough in lieu of video clip?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've already got a working prototype, that you've just taken it further. Go to my blog on my website, look for 8 types of prototypes. Read that. That was a professional prototyper helped with the foundation of that, and I just put the As Seen on TV in it. The further you take it is good. It's never bad to take it further. How much money more are you going to get? You know, probably not if you take it from a concept prototype, which an inventor mock-up prototype, which would be the first step, to a working prototype. That's not enough distance to probably have a lot more money, and this is a mistake inventors make. They spend way too much time and money tweaking their prototype. But if you have done that and you've got a prototype, it's not bad. You've taken it further, so that's good. And people that take it all the way into full production, you know, it's not that it's bad, it's good, it's just not necessary for this particular market.
To be more specific, I have a product that I have already applied to the Office of Patent and Trademark Office. It's under patent pending, and I have also a prototype. What can I do about it now?
Well, if you already have a patent pending, then you are legally allowed to make a public disclosure, and you are considered the inventor of that. So you don't have to worry about that. I would make a short little video of the product in action with a little smartphone or a video camera, you know, just yourself or somebody you know that can run that. Post it onto either YouTube or Vimeo with a private setting. Some people like to use a password. Some people just use the private. It doesn't really matter as long as they can see it. And then send me the link. That's what I prefer, is to get the link that's from YouTube or Vimeo in the private setting.
And remember too, an idea that's in motion is infinitely better than perfection on a shelf. I've seen people go, I got the best idea. And I've been working on it for 5 years. How many you sold? Like, let's get it going. So get that thing in motion.
And here's the other thing. I just want to, while you're doing that, so every now and then I come across, most of the time people submit their videos, and 90% of the time it's a no. It's just a no. And I send them back the feedback why. But every now and then I think, you know, I think that product does have potential. They just didn't really demo it very well. It's unusual that they didn't demo it well, but they just didn't. And if they tweaked it, they could. And so I'll send that feedback back and help people tweak it better before I take it to the committee. Because when I take it to the committee, I want the win. I want it to go through. You know, so I'll help you put your best foot forward. I'm doing that for your benefit. I'm doing that for my benefit because I want to be a part of the win. But most of the time, just you demoing the product is really all we're going to need, and you can't really mess it up. It's the product will speak for itself.
I don't know if you touched on this, but is there a submission fee?
No, there's not. No fee at all. And this is one of the things I talked about when I said it's the fastest, least expensive way. Now, there are tons of invention contests, and maybe some of them have fees and maybe some of them don't, but I don't charge a fee. And part of the reason I don't is because one of the things that I experienced when I was in my sports shape days and I was out there knocking on all the doors is, you know, it's hard to find good people to help you. You know, I came across so many service providers, and some of them I paid for $2,000 a month, and they'll solve your problems, and they're your answer to millions. But they're just not, you know. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great if you can get people on your management team or people that'll come and put some skin in the game and help? And so I did that too. I gave people equity who were experienced, and I got them on the management team. And they helped, they contributed, and there was some marginal benefit. But, you know, it was just kind of rough, and it seems like everybody always wants your money. And you know, you have to, because if you're a service provider, you have to make some money. And if you're providing a service that people need, then you should pay for that. So it's not bad that it's that way. It's business. Everybody's got to make money, right? But this just seemed to be a way that there was money looking for the success that didn't have to charge people up front any cash. And I liked that. And that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm giving 100% of my time to it.
What you'll find is when the idea is viable, there is plenty of money from the other powers that be. They want to make money just as bad as you do. Okay, and they're like, we'll get this baby up and running. So yeah, lots of people will take your money and bring little value. Another question. Yes, back over here.
While you're going, the problem is you can't be discouraged by the no's. You've got to think of this like a half-court basketball shot. And if it doesn't make it, if you get the no back from me and I tell you why, don't be like, oh, my idea. Just think of another one. You're creative people, you're inventors. Just take another shot. I'm going to tell you, turn your elbow in, keep your eye on the target, whatever. Just keep taking the shots. Every now and then, one will swim around the rim and you'll get one in.
If we have a product already submitted with another company, still under review, can we still submit to you, or is that kind of
You
screwing
can,
things
and
up?
I just tell me when that happens, because this is why I don't like people to spam their things all over, because there's all the feeder companies out there, and I'm working with a section of them, but eventually they all make it up the chain of command. And I've seen ideas that are good, but there's the good ideas. It's not like one idea is like way good compared to another, because if they meet the 7 criteria, that's good. Whether it's going to sell millions, nobody knows. So if you've got several ideas at play and one of them has been shopped all over town, suddenly that idea doesn't seem very unique anymore. Suddenly it's like, so if you tell me and I know who you're dealing with for this situation, then I can go around a different path. I'll take it a different path. But I want to be the exclusive from now on for the future ideas. I want you coming to me first, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to tell you yes, no, or maybe within 2 to 5 days. And if I tell you no, and you want to go somewhere else and shop it around and submit it to every contest, go ahead. Maybe you'll get lucky. Why not? I just want to be the first shot.
Hello, Smiley.
Am I smiling?
Yes, you smiled several times.
I told him, please help me smile.
Okay.
I get so
Anyway,
intense.
how many of you play the lottery? Don't put your hand up. Just think in your mind. This is a much better shot. You get to use your invention. Think of the shot that you could have on this.
Any more questions? Couple more. All right.
You guys, getting back to the numbers, you said $11 wholesale, and you said $2 to $3 to make it. Now, is that my cost, or is that, because I'm sure that SC on TV has a lot of...
Your costs are nothing except for your Inventor mock-up prototype and the time it took you to make that video. All of when I say cost, I'm talking about more from a invention creativity standpoint. Like, I get ideas all the time. A really nice man sent me a trailer hitch idea, and it's a great idea, but it's heavy. It's not for TV. When I say materials costs, I mean think of things that would be about $2 in material. You need to start getting an eye for pricing stuff. So when you should be able to look at anything in the store and go, oh, I know how much they're making. They're making a 6 times markup, a 5 times markup. They probably got these materials for $2. The licensee will actually buy the material. Yeah, but they'll pay for the inventory and the product development and all of that. But when they're done, and they're going to pay for it on a scale of, let's sell 1 million. So they can get their costs way, way lower than you ever could at the beginning of the cycle trying to buy 1,000 of something. So you can put a lot of material in and for $2 to $5 in cost of goods.
That's a fantastic question, and the reason it fits in one of those 7 things is what they're looking for is the margin for the home run. It's got to be, can we sell 1 million? More importantly, can we make tens of millions? That's what they're looking for is the margin, really.
Part of my question is, how much time would I expect to put in after it turned into that point?
None. The less, the better.
He does have to walk out to the mailbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been speaking about $20 as the sort of ceiling. Is there any low point, like $10? Is that okay? Or
We see that more and more now. We're starting to see the $10 items. that's not something you really have to worry about. It's, if for some reason it's a low cost of goods and think it's a better $9.99 or $10 item, it's, yeah. I call them the experts, they'll figure that out.
Anybody else? We're almost out of time here for the question. Okay. I got you over there. I saw you.
On the category where you had become a product scout, would you address the business and religious organization segment that you have on that?
Oh, I've just basically taken this program and added some scriptures from the Bible, and I call it witty inventions, because there's a scripture in Proverbs about witty inventions. So I give this at churches sometimes, under the banner of witty inventions, because I'm looking for my ideas from who's ever got them. I don't care what religion you are, I just happen to be Christian, so I go there. But I'll take them from anyone.
I noticed that My Pillow, seen on TV, sells for like $69, but you get it for $59. That's kind of the high end of
Yeah,
seen on
those
TV, isn't it?
those are considered long form. The things that take 30 minutes, things that require more education or higher item dollar volumes. I do have connections in those. They're called long form, but it's not the sweet spot. Because it's harder. Whenever they're buying 30 minutes of airtime, that's a lot harder sale, on an untested something than a 30, 60, or 2-minute spot. So it's just harder, but usually that's exercise stuff too, fitness, exercise related stuff, where there's an education piece involved. So I prefer to stick in the 1995 as the answer.
Fantastic job, well prepared. We really appreciate you.